Mark Dennis. Mark is Global COO and European CEO of Munich Re Digital Partners. He has specific responsibilities for European business. He joined Munich Re in 2009, leading a global business change unit, and then in May 2016, we took up his current role. Digital Partners is a global business working with and investing in startups, digital verticals, and the sharing economy, with the ambition of building a more engaging proposition for insurance customers. We have Mark Dennis, last panelist to ask a question of Munich Re Digital Partners. As you look across the Digital Partners network, what are the main lessons of technology choices of some of your partners, and what are the key factors in successful and timely launches? And I'd add, how many, do you have a number top of your head, how many partners you have at this point, or classified corporate information?
No, it's not classified, we're very transparent. And there haven't been quite enough plugs for Munich Re on this panel, so I'm going to do one myself as well, just to top it off. So we label ourselves now as the fastest and most flexible insurance partner for disruptors. Right, which are these guys on the panel. Just in terms of numbers, we've got about 20 live partnerships. So we've been going for about 2.5 years, so we're quite proud of the number of insurance partnerships that we've built over that 2.5 year time frame. We, believe it or not, we've met, we think, over 1,000 Insurtechs in that time. It sounds incredible, but then 6,000 people at this conference, maybe the numbers kind of stack up. So clearly over that time, we've learned an awful lot of lessons about what works and what doesn't work. A lot of the tech topics have already kind of surfaced on the panel, so getting your buy versus build decisions, or getting good at making buy versus build decisions. So don't try and do everything that you yourself. Get your MVP right. So de-scope complexity where you can, accepting that we're in a kind of fairly heavily regulated environment, so there's some things that you probably shouldn't de-scope. I should say that with my Munich Re regulatory hat on. But get those decisions right, so don't try and build everything. Leverage the partnerships that you've got, leverage the network, and actually we've had a lot of reference to that across the panel. So in terms of sharing exposed APIs, for example, you don't have to build it all yourselves. One thing I would say was be aware but not afraid of the regulatory environment. So we know it's a kind of difficult to navigate sometimes, but and again, this is I'm not saying this because I feel I have to. I think obviously a lot of the regulation's there for good reason, and being aware how to navigate that fairly difficult landscape is important. But we shouldn't really be afraid to kind of challenge that status quo too much, because we're all here because we're in the business of change, right? This is about people, this is about delivering stuff in a better way. And I would say probably for the first time in 10 years, I would describe myself as working in insurance rather than financial services, because it's kind of become a bit cool now, right? So even my kids think it's quite cool that I'm at a conference in Vegas on insurance. It's kind of, in previous years it would have been a hard sell probably. So a lot of those lessons have come out, but I think the other thing to do around partnerships is to kind of find, and this is another plug, a shameless plug probably, find your trusted partner who can help you navigate some of these difficult topics. So someone that can help you with a network of claims TPAs, for example, someone who's got connections to policy admin system vendors, Solartis being an example, but of course other PASs are available, I should say that. So again, leverage, they're not? Oh, okay. Depends on the amount of tequila, Nick, by the way. But so leveraging that network rather than trying to do everything yourself, I think where we've seen, I wouldn't call them failures, but kind of lack of traction is where people are trying to do everything with a lack of focus. Probably a common problem for some startups.
So in working with the Insurtechs in your network, in your partner digital partner organization, is there any tendency to say, you're going to focus on technology, or do a lot of them come to you with technology, but a little bit not up the learning curve as far as the insurance industry goes, both regulatory and business and operating model, et cetera?
So our job really is to be this kind of solution provider, if you like, the enabler in the middle, the guys that remove the friction from various parts of the process. And going back a couple of years, we had a kind of technology play, which was actually kind of microservice in style. So providing an API layer, and the idea was that it would provide access to all of the kind of underlying services. So previously we did have a very kind of strong technology focus. took me about 12 months to realise that that wasn't quite the right thing to be doing, because I sort of woke up in a cold sweat one night, not in Vegas, I hasten to add, thinking, hang on a minute, if we're providing this 24/7 service where we're providing all of that plumbing, if you like, but keeping the plumbing working for 100 or 200 services, we're just not the guys to do that. Mm-hmm. So we changed that model, and now we actually make connections rather than provide those services. So, for example, we'll make introductions to policy admin vendors or payment providers like Stripe or claims CPAs and so on and so on. So there's a huge network of people who are really good at doing that stuff, rather than us trying to kind of do it almost half-heartedly. So we're a connector now, I think, rather than a deliverer of that kind of tech service.